Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today, before I get into the vlog, I have to say, forgive me if y'all hear a fan in the background, which hardly ever happens in my video. But people, here's the thing. Summer has finally reached my part of the world, and it is even hotter than Jamaica. At the moment, as I'm speaking, I am experiencing 97 degrees weather, burning up. I'm talking about Jamaican type weather and beyond. So bear with me, and I hope that I'm talking loud enough that you guys can hear and not be distracted by the sound of the fan, but I need it at the moment. Okay, one more thing before I get into this video. You guys know that my wife is an artist. Recently she did a drawing, she did it with charcoal, of Bob Marley, but she was not 100% happy with it. She asked me what I thought of it. I told her it was good enough for my view, but to be sure, I've decided to throw it on my channel so you guys can have a look at it, and I want you to rate this Bob Marley that my wife done from a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being it's rubbish, 10 being it's excellent, 5 being fair enough. So here's the view of Bob Marley. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, so y'all tell me what y'all think, and let me tell her what y'all vote is. Yeah, okay, on to today's vlog and the business of the day. As you can tell by the thumbnail of my video, it is titled Jamaicans being used for readership and views. What I mean by that is this. Recently I read an article about Shante Skyers, the little girl that was raped and murdered in St. Andrew. The article that I recently read says pretty much the case is going cold. Here's the thing that I want to say about that. You know, I want people in Jamaica, especially when it comes to Shantae's parents, to know this. When it comes to news, when it comes to newspaper, or when it comes to radio news or TV news, I'm gonna put it out there as a writer, as a journalist. These journalists and these media houses do not care about you as a person. These media houses care about one thing and one thing only: get the news. And if the news is not firing up, they're not interested. So as much as they come around your neighborhood and they run their cameras and they interview this person and that person, if it's not a saleable type of news, they're not interested. So when they're there, you know, don't believe that the Gleaner or the Observer or the Loop or TVJ or CVM, don't think for a second that these people have your interest at hand. You are only news to them, you know. So it disappointed me to see that such a ugly tragedy took place in Jamaica with a little girl, and the jungle justice that went down, everybody just thought that was enough and we will do no further investigation. I'm not saying no further investigation is being done. I'm just saying, based upon what I read, the case is getting cold, and whether or not the person who were murdered during the jungle justice was the actual culprit is yet to be verified. According to what I've read, it seems as if the parents of Shante Skyers and the people from her neighborhood are at a loss. And if we don't make any noise about it, Shantae's case is just going to grow cold, and it's going to get quiet, and so will the next victim's case, and the next victim's case, and the next victim's case. So I decided to recap Shante Skyers' case because I did do a vlog on her when the news was fresh, and I decided let me do another video on her to create an echo or try to create a ripple effect, so the investigators that are in charge or these newspaper media houses show some other interest in it, and not because it's not the news at the moment. You know, it's like they have sucked out all the juicy bit of her demise, and now that her death is old news, no one seemed to be making any deal about it. These media houses are no longer publishing anything in regards of her passing. So I just want Jamaican people to know that when it comes to journalists and when it comes to media houses and newspapers, you are just a block in the house that they're trying to build. And the house that they're trying to build is all about money, you know, news sell. But if you go online and if you check out Jamaican news, if you check out the Gleaner, the Loop, if you check out them, especially if you check them out on YouTube and you look at the views, what sells the most is the negative news, is the murders that sell, is the gunmen and the rapists. That's what sells. What doesn't sell is Good Samaritan helping out old people. What doesn't sell is the news about the PEP examination. What I'm saying, it does sell, but when you compare these news versus the tragedy of murders and shooting and rapes, you realize that these negative news will always get more views. And considering that these negative news will get more views and more readership, these media houses are only interested in news that will get them readership and views. So once again, to Shante Squires and to all other Jamaicans that may be watching my video at the moment, keep in mind that your tragedy, any tragedy that affects your family, at the end of the day, it's your tragedy, and you are responsible to be making that noise so people don't forget, or so that justice may prevail. Okay, now that I've covered that, I want to use this time to cover the loss of morality around the world, but also in Jamaica. Yesterday, an elderly woman met her demise when she was struck by a car on Washington Boulevard in the intersection of Weymouth Drive. I was disturbed to read that while the woman was on the ground, bleeding out, succumbing to her injuries, people took the time out to film her demise with their cell phone. Truth to be told, I've seen similar acts on YouTube. I believe that 2 years ago, two teenagers sat to the side as this guy was drowning and screaming for help, and they figured that instead of trying to help him or calling for police or ambulance, they thought it would make better views online to tape him, and the guy actually drowned and died. So now that everyone in Jamaica, adults and teenagers, have their cell phone and have their camera phone, I would just like to use my platform to plead to the Jamaican people, because I don't know for sure if it was adults or children that was filming this woman as she was dying. I would like to plead to Jamaican people to stay in our morality lane. You know, there's a lot of bad about us as a nation, but our upbringing, the way we were brought up, we were all brought up fearing a God. And considering that that's how we were brought up, we want to keep it aligned with our teachings from our mother, our fathers, or from Jamaica itself. And it was never our thing to find fun or extort the dying. It was never a part of the Jamaican culture to extort someone's death. I mean, Jamaica is renowned for murders and for people dying in tragic situation. But to actually film someone's demise or someone who's struggling to be alive for the purpose of entertainment online or to gain views or to gain traffic to your page or your channel. I just think it is a different level of being inhumane, and it takes away the natural sensitivity which we should have for each other. I don't know if my plea or my complaint about such ugly act will make a difference. I mean, I do hope that it makes a difference, but I mean, when I see things like that happen in, say, countries like America, where the moral levels are different from Jamaica, it's not that I accept it in America and I don't accept it in Jamaica. It's just that in America it seems like certain thing goes that doesn't usually go in Jamaica. That's their culture, that's their lifestyle. So when I see it happen in Jamaica, it does bother me a little. I had to put it out there to express how disturbed I am to see that the Jamaica and the culture that I know is gradually depleting. That's pretty much my video for the day, people, and I look forward to your comments, whether they're positive comments or negative comments. I appreciate it, because like I always say on my channel, each one teach one. Until next time, people, peace.